everybody. I'm DTG, or DeTonorG. I'm bringing today a review of the game Paranoiac from 2011. This is the second time that I'm recording it because the first time I messed it up in two things. That is the position of the microphone. I was using like the microphones the recorder use. The problem is the breathing was being catched. And the second problem was that I forgot to follow the script. I was trying to improvise a lot, and the problem with that is some of the words I have not practiced, and I got stuck and had to make a lot of cuts. So I'll be doing better now. So Paranoiac from 2011 is a game that is special for me because I brought it in 2015 in my channel while doing a special of 50 subscribers. And another reason that it's special for me is because it talks about themes that I'm familiar with, like paranoia and schizophrenia. So now let's talk about the technical specifications. This is a single player. It was made in Wolf RPG editor, that is like RPG Maker. It was released in 2011. The creator is Yuri. She's the owner of the Yuri game, and other works that are more famous of her is the franchise The Strange Man Anthology. Also, without knowledge, I had already wishlisted one of her games, that is the Crooked Man. So now, since I know this connection, I'll have to play it. The the game style is horror, terror, 2D, thriller, and puzzle. So now, summary. The story is about Mickey, and she goes to live in her aunt's house that just passed away. She was called Saiki. In there, she suffers with some paranormal activities, grotesque visions, and chases by unknown creatures. While she's going through all this, her traumatizing past is revealed little by little, showing us that because of the story of her family related with that house and her aunt, all this was destined to happen. But not everything is tragedy. Although 80% of the game has a heavy atmosphere, I believe it teaches us some valuable lessons about how we should deal and treat people with mental disorders, and why we should take it more seriously. So I took 2 hours and 40 minutes and 1 day to beat the game in my first try. So I will talk more about the details, but let's go to the pros and cons so we can discuss it better. So for the first positive point is the story. So I like the story because even though the themes are very explored in the horror scene, it's going more deep, and it's easy to follow and understand, at least for those who are already like the genre. So the second positive point is the plot. It's kind of slow, but it's very good at revealing what's necessary in each part. So it could be a little boring for those who are hasty, but I recommend if you like some heavy story with some shockful events. It also have details about one thing that I like a lot, that is psychology. As an example is this part around 2 hours and 20 minutes where Shinji is talking with Mickey. In here we can see that It tries to show us that we should not judge or expect someone with a mental disorder to behave like they do not have one. We need to have empathy and patience, not only from the people externally, but also from themselves. We cannot change if we not accept ourselves. And of course, seek help. And it's valid for people that suffers from ADHD to schizophrenia. So for those with mental disorders, each step matters. The most important thing is to not retrogress. Do not be ashamed or try to hide your weaknesses. It's important to acknowledge so you can overcome it. Another part that I like it is how they portray depression. I don't think I had depression, so instead of talking in details about something I have no knowledge, I will show you a message about in the game and comment over it. I thought I could find light in the darkness, but there is no way back. It shows us that because of the depression and the low self-esteem, the person that has depression will mostly dig a hole even deeper for themselves. And it's also not uncommon to people with disorders because unfortunately we usually seek comfort in our disorder instead of trying to heal from it. And that's why the case usually get worse without help. In the case of the person with depression is the lack of hope and the feeling that they have no salvation. And we know how that ends. And that's not the truth. The truth is that we all can be saved. So the third positive point is the gore. The gore is one of my favorite parts in general. Here it's not very present, but when it is, it's good. Of course, in its own capabilities. So the fourth positive point is the atmosphere. It's heavy and it has that serious ambience of games like Corpse Party, Fatal Frame, and Siren and or Silent Hill. It also has the empty feeling, the loneliness that is so good in RPG makers. It has no comic relief, which certainly would spoil this game. So the 50 positive point is the horror, which is to understand from all the other points. So the 60 positive point is the narrative, which is also self-explanatory from all the other points that I'm explaining. And the 70 positive point is the violence. I like the violence for two reasons. First, it is very compatible with the ambient of the game. And the second fact is the strong violence in the plot and narrative. It also reminded me a little of the classical Japanese Googles. And for those who don't know, it's an animation that talks about heavy themes and forces a melodramatic and shocking plot and narrative. But don't worry, it's not over the top here. So the eighth positive point is the jump scares. It just works. Most of the tension was made because of it, and they are not excessive, so it doesn't desensitize us. And the ninth positive point is the characters. All the, all the characters are well made, but I will highlight one, that is Shinji Miura. He's a beautiful soul that is trying to help the main character in the best way possible. So two things that I identified with him are he is very introspective and timid, which is not much uncommon in Japan. And the second thing is the fact that he's interested in psychology, even going into making profiles of the people that he knows, which is something that I have been doing for a long time in my life, mostly because of my paranoia, of course. So now let's talk about the cons, the negative points. The first negative point is the choices. They simply don't matter. Basically, only one choice in the game matters. But we can already see in the beginning, around 80 minutes in my gameplay, that it doesn't matter. I couldn't progress if I didn't explore the room. So the second negative point is the replayability, which you guys can already understand because of the lack of choices, right? And also the game doesn't seem to have much to show in the new plays. So the third negative point is the puzzles. So usually in RPG Maker style games, these points are average or above. But in this case, it's not because we have to explore the information around the house is not very interesting or it's not compatible with the plot. So it's kind of uninteresting. So the fourth negative point is it's repetitive. So it basically follows a loop of investigating and fighting the monster. And the combat is basically miss or hit. There is no pattern. So before going to the rating, I will talk about my favorite part in the game, which is when we have to explore the basement. Even though it's kind of scary, it reveals something beautiful and essential for the plot. And this is something amazing about schizophrenia. It is scary on my own experience with people that has schizophrenia. But if you look with attention, you can see a lot of meaning behind it. And if you have more, like I said, patience and empathy, you can work it out. You can have better ways to deal with it. And that's why I think it's a beautiful and meaningful part. Not only for the plot, but also to learn. So now the rating. So the rating is 9 positive points divided by 13 total points. It's equals 7 around. And I gave it plus 1 point because I like the game. I like it. So the final rating is 8. So this is it about this beautiful game that marked my teenager years. And it also has a remake that I will play. So if you like it, subscribe, share it with your friends to help me make more content, and peace be with you.